Deitrick Haddon is a well-known name in the world of gospel music, admired by fans all around. However, his daughter has always remained somewhat of a mystery to the public. People have heard rumors about her and made guesses, but her true voice and feelings have never been heard. For years, she stayed quiet, keeping her struggles and emotions locked deep inside. But now, the time has come for her to finally open up and share some of her life's hidden stories. This is the story of her first bold step, breaking the silence and revealing her truth to the world. It's the moment when Deitrick Haddon's daughter decides to find her own identity and raise her voice amid the pressures of fame. Growing up as the daughter of a famous personality like Deitrick Haddon was never easy. From a young age, she lived in the shadow of her father's fame, where every step she took was watched closely by the public and the media. While most kids her age enjoyed simple, private lives, she had to balance the constant attention and high expectations that came with being part of such a well-known family. People often saw her only as Deitrick Haddon's daughter, without really knowing who she was as a person. Behind the scenes, she struggled with feelings of being misunderstood and trapped by the image others created of her. She wanted to be seen as her own person, with her own dreams and challenges, but the spotlight rarely let her do that. The pressure to live up to her family's name and to maintain a perfect image made her feel isolated, and often she found it hard to express what she truly felt inside. For years, Deitrick Haddon's daughter kept her thoughts and feelings locked away, choosing silence over speaking out. She watched as rumors spread, as people filled the gaps with their own stories, many of them far from the truth. This silence wasn't because she didn't have a voice. It was because the fear of judgment, misunderstanding, and unwanted attention held her back. But then came a moment, a turning point that changed everything. It wasn't just a simple incident, but a combination of things that piled up over time. Perhaps a harsh rumor went viral online, painting her in a way that felt unfair and damaging. Maybe she faced personal struggles that she could no longer hide, moments of loneliness, anxiety, or feeling invisible despite being in the public eye. The pressure became unbearable, and she realized that continuing to stay quiet was only making things worse for her mental and emotional health. This breaking point forced her to rethink her silence. She understood that keeping everything inside was not a solution. Instead, speaking out could give her the chance to reclaim her story, to show the world who she really was beyond the headlines and whispers. It was a deeply personal decision, filled with uncertainty and fear of how people might react. But she knew that her truth deserved to be heard, and her voice could inspire others facing similar struggles. This moment of clarity gave her the strength to step into the spotlight, not as just Deitrick Haddon's daughter, but as her own person, ready to share her journey and feelings honestly for the very first time. After years of staying quiet and trying to manage the pressure, something finally pushed her to speak out. It wasn't just one small thing. It was a moment when the weight of rumors, misunderstandings, and her own feelings became too heavy to carry alone. Maybe it was a viral story that twisted her image, or a private struggle that reached a breaking point. Whatever it was, this event made her realize that staying silent was no longer helping her heal or grow. She began to understand that if she wanted people to truly know her, she had to be brave enough to share her story herself. This wasn't an easy choice. It took a lot of courage and careful thought. But she decided that breaking her silence was necessary, not just for herself, but to show the world the real person behind the public image. When she finally spoke out, it was unlike anything people expected. She didn't just talk about the fame or the spotlight. She shared her deepest feelings and struggles, the parts of her life that had been hidden for so long. She spoke honestly about the pressure of living up to her father's legacy and how it made her feel lost at times. She admitted that being known only as Deitrick Haddon's daughter sometimes made her feel invisible as her own person. She opened up about the challenges she faced growing up under constant public scrutiny, how every mistake, every smile, and every word was analyzed and judged. But she didn't just share her hardships, she also talked about her dreams and hopes. She revealed her passion for music, her desire to create her own path, and her determination to break free from the expectations placed on her. She talked about the moments when she doubted herself, but also the times she found strength within to keep going. Most importantly, she sent a message to her fans and critics alike, asking for understanding, patience, and respect for her individuality. She reminded everyone that behind the fame and family name is a real person with emotions, hopes, and struggles, just like anyone else. Her reveal was raw and heartfelt, showing a side of her that many had never seen before. It was clear she wasn't just trying to clear rumors or prove something. She wanted to be understood and accepted for who she truly was. By breaking her silence, she not only reclaimed her voice, but also inspired others who might be feeling silenced or misunderstood in their own lives. The moment she broke her silence, the reaction was immediate and powerful. Fans flooded social media with messages of support, praising her bravery for speaking her truth after so many years. Many people expressed how relatable her story was, how they too had felt trapped by expectations or misunderstood by those around them. Her honesty opened up conversations about mental health, identity, and the struggles that come with fame, making her story more than just a personal reveal, but a source of inspiration for many. At the same time, there were critics and skeptics who questioned her motives or misunderstood her words. Some believed she was seeking attention, while others couldn't look past the family name to see the individual behind it. Despite the mixed reactions, she stood firm, showing maturity and grace in handling both praise and criticism. This showed the world that she was ready to take control of her narrative on her own terms. More importantly, breaking her silence marked a turning point in her personal life. She began to feel a sense of freedom and confidence she had never experienced before. The weight of hiding was lifted, allowing her to explore her passions and dreams without fear. This new chapter gave her the strength to pursue projects and goals that reflected her true self, separate from her father's shadow. Looking ahead, she expressed hope and excitement for the future, a future where she defined success and happiness for herself. Her story became a reminder that sometimes finding your voice is the first step to finding your true self. The moment Deitrick Haddon's daughter finally broke her silence, it sent ripples across social media and the entertainment world. Her heartfelt words struck a chord with many who had been watching her from afar, but never truly knew what she was going through. Support poured in from fans who admired her courage to open up about something so personal and difficult. They saw her not just as the child of a famous musician, but as a young woman with her own story, struggles, and dreams. Many shared how her honesty inspired them to confront their own fears and speak their truth. Her story sparked important conversations about mental health, identity, and the pressures that come with growing up in the public eye, topics that are often overlooked but deeply affect countless people behind the scenes. However, not everyone welcomed her openness with kindness. Some critics accused her of seeking attention or questioned the timing of her revelation. A few struggled to separate her from her father's fame, dismissing her as merely Deitrick Haddon's daughter rather than an individual in her own right. Despite these challenges, she handled the mixed reactions with remarkable maturity. She responded to negativity calmly, refusing to let criticism silence her again. This resilience showed that she was truly ready to take control of her own narrative, regardless of public opinion. On a personal level, breaking her silence was life-changing. The relief she felt was immense. No longer carrying the burden of hiding her true self allowed her to breathe freely for the first time in years. This newfound freedom boosted her confidence and gave her the strength to pursue her passions more openly. Whether it was music, creative projects, or simply living authentically, she began to step out of her father's shadow and define her own path. The decision to speak up was not just about addressing the past, but about shaping a future on her own terms. Looking forward, she expressed hope and determination. She talked about building a life where she was judged by who she was, not by the family name she carried. Her story became a beacon for anyone feeling trapped by expectations or silenced by fear. Proof that sometimes the hardest step, speaking out, is the key to true freedom and self-discovery. In the end, Deitrick Haddon's daughter's decision to break her silence was more than just a personal moment. It was a powerful turning point that reshaped how people see her. No longer just known as the child of a famous father, she stepped into the spotlight as her own person, with her own voice and story. Her journey reminds us all that behind every public image is a real,